today we're going to talk about that one question that constantly plagues everyone, each one who's there in class 10th. Most of you, it's there in your mind. And yes, it's about how to improve your score when it comes to a factual passage, when it comes to a discursive passage, whatever the passage may be. Trust me, if you stick to this video, you get something out of it, right? So without wasting any time, before we jump on to trying to work on these passages and see how well we've understood the concept, first I would bring to your notice some things that are ignored, that we tend to ignore unintentionally. We don't have it in our mind, but still we ignore it, right? So you have to admit this thing, that reading comprehension, may be any kind of comprehension, it at times becomes a very tricky game. Yes, I accept it. And especially when you come across those long passages, it's like you are done for the day and you get settled. Okay, I don't think I'll be in a position to move to section B or maybe jump to section C. On the other hand, if I would say, the rewards if you get are very interesting. If you are able to cross that thing, if you are able to understand, able to comprehend and answer all the difficult questions as the passage is asking for, trust me, this means they're going to gain few marks, and a lot of marks I would say, and they're going to be right in your pocket. So at the best of times, I would say you are likely to find a passage that you have never read previously. It's like you've never come across that passage. It's very new to you. So one of the most significant factors for solving reading passages or reading comprehension and being accurate in this area actually revolves around how you approach, how you adopt for this topic. For example, how you cope up with such a challenge is actually becomes a central concept of how you're going to gain marks out of it, how you're going to score. So while ensuring that you actually are able to get a very good score of whatever you go, let's try to remember, keep in mind some of the important things, right? So that you don't fall into that common pitfalls, or get into that common pitfalls that most of the people are. So with regard to your approach, you have to understand that, see, the minute you get the question paper, don't start reading the comprehension. It's very important, number one, that you don't actually kickstart with by reading the comprehension. First, please go back, read the questions. It's very important to have a look on the questions, like what are they looking for, what answers they're expecting you to come up. The more, so I'll tell you something, the more lengthy the passage is, the more easy it is. The more shorter the passage is, it tries to have a lot of intricacies in it. It tends to be very difficult to comprehend. So the minute you get your question paper, first with a pencil, try to very lightly mark on the numbers, just number out the paragraphs. Second, turn the page, flip the page. If you have the questions written on the other side, just read the questions and underline what words they are expecting you to answer. Are they looking for some sort of synonyms? Are they looking for some sort of antonyms? Word meanings or stuff like that would commonly be, you'll be coming across things like that. So yes, read the questions, underline a word or so that you might have to look back in the passage. We generally go, how we approach a passage is, normal people, how do they approach it? First, they're going to read the passage, then they're going to flip the page and then read the questions. Then again, they're going to, after picking up one question, they're going to go back to the passage. See, if you have those questions that you need to address in your mind, the back of your mind, it becomes easy that what is the area that you're going to target. कौन सी चीजें देखनी है, उसके लिए बहुत जरूरी है कि सबसे पहले, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, यू लुक इनटू द क्वेश्चंस. इफ यू आर नॉट अ प्रो इन कॉम्प्रिहेंशंस और सॉल्विंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशंस और पैसेजेस, सबसे पहले प्लीज क्वेश्चंस को पढ़िए, ठीक है? And try to set a time limit when it comes to section A. It's a very you can get a lot of marks if you approach it the right way. Second important thing is, do not overemphasize. When I say do not overemphasize on trivialities, that means See, details at times they are important, but don't be obsessed. Examples, you're given, for example, might be given some illustrations, might be given some examples. You just need to get a hang of the main point. You won't be asked on the illustrations, give the example. Most of the time they're not looking for the illustrations or examples that follow. Siraf, you need to get a hang, or you need to get a hang of the main point and not the examples. Okay, so comprehending the overall flow and the structure will automatically help you analyze and answer the questions in the right manner. So first, examples kind of can be ignored. Don't overemphasize on all those trivialities. Third important point, do not memorize. So what happens, we at time try to follow the normal norm, that is, okay, you're given a paragraph and you have to read it the way it is given. At times it does happen that your concentration is distracted because of some announcement, there's some announcement, or maybe the teacher is distributing a sheet as yet, somebody's asking for water, anything. So your concentration tends to break a bit there. So you can of course go back and then continue with wherever you've left. So do not memorize it. By which I mean, what I mean to say, you do not need to memorize every word that is present in the passage. Understand the flow, the structure, and the main points in the passage. That should be your priority. Okay, of course, word to word, even you don't memorize the summary of the chapters. You don't know at times that, okay, this event follows this. How can you expect yourself, okay, how can you expect you'll be remembering everything in one go? So what you have to do is understand the flow, the structure, the main points in the passage. That should be your priority. Even if it's a factual or specific point, when it comes to your questions, you can always reread the passage, go back, check what are they looking for. Next important, fourth important point, like I told you, please number out your paragraph. Please number the paragraph, because at times you are asked to go back and look for a particular word, look for the meaning of a particular word in this paragraph. So you should always develop this habit of numbering out the paragraph. So guys, I don't expect a lot because I know you have that pressure. दिमाग पे बहुत stress है. You have to follow all the main subjects. You have to cover science. You have to cover social. You have to cover maths. I know there's hell lot of pressure, but at least what we can do is just prior to your exam, a day or two, you can at least practice some passages, so that you can probably get hold of it or get into the mood or the flow of the passage. Like, I'll be telling you how you can approach it. We'll be having an example here. I'll be covering it in the class so that you probably can analyze. So what happens also most of the time, like fifth point, you don't get the meaning. Suppose if we can't remember every word. We at this point, I won't say it is difficult that go read the newspapers, improve your vocabulary, develop your reading skills, go read this and this novel. I don't think. Let's be very practical in our approach when it comes to passages. So what thing you can do is, for example, you asked a particular word and you don't know the meaning. Okay, but you can find difficult words in the passages. At least read the entire sentence. Sometimes the word that you're not able to understand has its hidden meaning when you read the entire sentence. It becomes pretty clear. So let's revise what I have told you. First, read the questions. Second, set the time limit. I am going to write it here. Time limit is your priority. I'll be again telling you this thing. Do not overemphasize on all the triviality. Do not memorize. Priority should be on all the flow, focus on the structure and also the main points. Number the paragraph, and last I told you is meaning. Next, putting the next important point, that is 6th point. Do not, again I'm telling you, do not read the passage first. Passage reading should not be a it should not be a priority. It should not be done in the first go. Always go through, again I'm saying it's a very important point. Please, before I start with other points, I'm telling you, always go through the questions first and then the passage. This will prepare you to focus on the things you need to look in the passage. Focus only on questions and not on particular answer option, like which option is this, okay, this is good, this is. Try to focus what the question is asking you to answer. For example, sometimes we provide the information that we know better rather than what the question is asking. Okay, so a quick, I would say quick overview of the questions is sufficient. It's very, very important. Seventh important point is do not overemphasize on vocabulary. Don't overemphasize, like I told you, on vocabulary skills in reading comprehension. Having a, it's like you are not Shakespeare. Of course, many of you are. I understand you are all those lovebirds who write very well, who can, tell their dard ka dukhda in a very strong, have a very strong opinion on anything. But what happens? Having a very strong vocabulary is a great thing. Of course, it's good. I need to appreciate that. But having a Shakespeare sort of vocabulary is something difficult. So what happens is, it's not important that having a strong vocabulary is great, but however, having a Shakespeare vocabulary will probably help you much more. So what you can do is, don't put yourself under that stress, guys. This is not the right time to stress out, to freak out. We have to look for other options. Everybody would be coming, improve your vocabulary, do this, do this. You don't have time, I understand, as of now you don't have that time in hand. So do not put yourself under the stress, under that stress in this area when it comes to vocabulary. And while reading the passage, make sure that you understand the gist as in the main idea of the passage, and do not get stuck by particular words. What happens, unless, like for example, I've written a very good paragraph and there's one word, ek word bahut mushkil hai, I'll get stuck there. God, I understand your pain, guys. This word is that particular word where you'll be like this, and your life will end there. You'll think that it's the end of the world. Again, I'm telling you, don't stress yourself because of this particular word. You just have to get into the gist of the paragraph. You've understood the entire paragraph. Why are you stuck here? No, that's not the point. This is just an obstruction. This is just a hurdle. Don't get into that mode. Oh my God, I'm gonna end nowhere, reach nowhere. On that point, sorry. Eighth important thing that you have to take care of is do not spend time. Do not spend time on section, or maybe on section A, that you cannot comprehend. When I say you cannot comprehend, matlab you cannot understand at first. If one thing is not clear to you in one go, trust me, you read it, give it a pause there. Okay, don't get stuck and waste an hour on it. You have limited time in hand. If at times we come across a passage that we are not able to comprehend, sometimes we are stuck here, it's not working. Okay, if you are struggling with one such passage in an exam where you're not able to comprehend or make sense out of it, make sure you have the patience and the guts to avoid this thing that you're wasting a lot of time. Focus on the ones that you can manage easily, by which go back to that tricky passage in case there's a necessity and you find there's a time in hand. Don't get stuck. Move, leave some space and then move to section B, but don't get stuck there. Just give yourself some time, give yourself a break. Okay, guys, next important thing that you have to keep in mind is going to be point number 9. Don't think the correct option would be somewhere outside the passage, that these options don't fit. We at times think that, okay, it's a very general opinion that something we don't get, we look out for from somewhere else and we put in our own knowledge. This is not going to be the case. So do not think that the correct option is going to be outside the passage. A big no to this. Don't frame your own, put your own knowledge Of course, this does not mean that you can't rearrange the words. Okay, sometimes it's important that you don't copy paste the sentence, but yes, it's any of the options that is out of the scope of the passage is never the correct answer. The right answer is always based on the information given in the passage. Do not focus on any of those options that distract you from the main passage. Sometimes it happens that some very generic information is given, that pollution is because of this and this and this, and suddenly you find out that there is a question that does not match any of the options. Read the question two times, twice, and then get back to the passage. Wherever you find the answer is, your answer is not going to be somewhere outside the passage. It has to be there in the passage. I hope you guys are getting what I'm trying to convey. So these are some of the common myths that I'm trying to, burst here. And next important thing, do not rely on those. Sometimes what happens is if you watch a lot of movies, and what happens, we conclude that this person is the protagonist or the hero, and the other person is a very evil person, and he's going to turn the game around or do some mischief or something like that. Similarly, in passages, what happens, do not always rely on those difficult or those trigger words that might change the world upside down. So you might get trapped into that web of those triggery words, and if you don't read the message very attentively, a passage, see what happens, the plot of the passage might be very different from what the trigger words are about. So a passage may focus on one point for a quite bit of sentence, and then it may change itself towards some other trigger point. For example, the trigger point might be but, it can be however, instead of. So this is actually done. So these words like but, however, instead of, we do come across, like there is but word is used, instead, except. Okay, so all these words are used. So the passage tone is like this. Okay, like everybody likes ice cream. Ice cream is a very good sweet dish that Indian people prefer to eat. But, and they suddenly come up with something new. Okay, so this will always this will probably confuse you people, okay, who skim through the passage or rush through the passage in haste. So you might come across, okay, ice cream has this disadvantage, so I'm going to put it here. So if you're not reading the question first and then jumping to the passage, there is a chance, there's a bright possibility, it's very on the other side, that okay, you might get confused with these trigger points, and ultimately you might lose marks on that answer. So don't get confused, read the passage carefully, and if you think there's a need to go back and again read it, do that. Don't feel shy about it. And also, while reading that abstract text, make sure you make some quick notes. For example, there's a paragraph right here. With a pencil, what you can do is write 1 or 2 points here, that this paragraph has these two concerns. You may write the general flow, structure, paragraph, so that you remember, okay, this paragraph has this thing. Remember that you do not have to rely on all those long notes at this time. Just make a very quick note of the important markers or the points in the passage towards the side, that too with a pencil, because anyway you're not allowed to write anything on the question paper. So be very smart in your approach, and once you're done, just erase it quickly. Next important point is, so I told you to make all a note of all the main points, okay, so that you can remember that this paragraph talks about this. Next important thing is, please attempt previous year question paper. This is a very difficult skill. It's a very difficult skill. If you master it, nobody's going to take up all those sample papers, sit with it, and then try to solve it. I know it's difficult at this time, but guys, if you pre-attempt the questions or maybe a lot of passages, you'll get a better hold of it. You'll be a pro in this. Okay, so of course you have to master this. You have to be a king when it comes to factual passage or any discursive passage that you've been given to asked about. And next important thing that you have to keep in mind besides all this is, please take care that you focus more on opening and closing paragraph. Most of the questions are related from opening and closing. That does not mean you skip or trim the body section. Just questions such as the main idea of the questions, they are based on the overall subject of the passage, and majority of the times the answers of this question, they lie in the first paragraph or maybe in the last paragraph of the passage. You'll get the overall idea of the passage, and also ensure that you derive the maximum possible information from either the opening passage or the closing passage. Is everybody clear till here? Whatever I'm trying to say, I'm trying to be very generic in the opinion so that you guys can score, improve. We'll see how it works. Next important trick is constantly question yourself while you're reading the passage. The main it's like constantly, I would say, question yourself if you're able to understand the passage or not, in order to maintain your concentration. Most of us, we get distracted. Even while you're watching this video, there might be thousand things going around you. Your mother might be cooking, your father might be reading the newspaper, your brother or sister might be playing a game of PUBG, Clash of Clans, or watching Netflix for that matter. So in order to maintain, similarly in that exam halls also, you are under that pressure, constant pressure, that oh my god, she's writing so much, I don't know anything, oh my god, the teacher might help him or something like that. So in order to maintain your concentration while reading, make sure you sub when it make sure that some basic questions, they keep playing at the back of your mind, like maybe what is the basic idea, what is the main flow, what are they talking about, the plot. And finally, of course, don't expect it's like it's very stimulated response. In fact, most of the time, I would say you get bored because of reading those RCs or comprehensions, but you should not allow all this to drain your energy when you are reading the comprehension. Maintain an impartial attitude towards the passage and don't get mentally hassled by all the all the content that's not very good, very effective, I would say, or difficult to understand. Is it clear to everybody? And these are the points that you have to keep in mind. So let's not get distracted by all these fundas that I've just told you. Let's see if you can answer a passage, and then I'm going to talk about something more important. Cool, guys. So let's get started. Here you go. Sorry, this is a paragraph. See, what I'm going to do is, in this paragraph, what we are going to do is, we're going to first read the questions and then get back to the passage. This is a factual passage. So let's see what we have for the questions. Read the questions, you guys. This is the first question. Okay. According to the passage, this is these are monkeys, by the way, sort of monkeys. So they are known as orangutans. Orangutans is how they pronounce it. It's not orangutans, it's orangutans. I hope it's clear how you pronounce it. So we'll see what are the meanings to some words, some difficult words. So according to the passage, orangutans mostly eat. So you can underline what do they eat. This is the first thing that you're going to look for. Let's proceed to the next question. It has been seen that orangutans and humans do almost the same with respect to humans. So you've underlined the second point also that you have to look for. Okay, let's proceed. So first, they eat. Second thing that you have to look for is humans. How are they same? Third question that follows is, orangutans grow and reproduce slowly. So reproduce slowly. So you have to focus on this. See, you got what you're looking for now. Three questions. Let's see what the fourth question is. We do not want orangutans to become extinct. They're talking about, so you've got the basic idea that yes, they're talking about orangutans, but what is the basic idea that they're asking us to understand? Extinct compared with humans. Okay, what do they eat? Reproductive, why are they slow when it comes to reproduction? Then next question that follows is, see, find a word in para 2. That is why I told you guys, please number your paragraph. So find a word in para 2 which means the same, not foreseen. So you have to understand. I won't tell you, you guys have to look all by yourself. And next question is, orangutans are among dash primates. So you have to answer this one also. You've got a fair dash are critically endangered species. And the last question here is there is a severe decline in the population of orangutan. So population, decline, and population. Next question that follows. Oh, so we are done. Good to go. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to cover this passage. Once you read it, just let me know and try to answer it. Be very quick, guys. This paragraph, not more than 5 minutes. We'll be very quick. So let's see if you guys can answer. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Good to go. Your time starts now. Once you're done with this page, just let me know. I'll proceed to the next page. And I'm not going to give you more than 2 minutes to read a page. Okay, let's proceed to the next page. That is, we talked, we talked, we talked, we talked. No, we didn't talk. This is the second page of the paragraph. Sorry, of the passage. 2 minutes. Okay, most of you almost might have forgotten the question, so I'll go back to the question so that you can see what the questions were. Okay, here you go. First, one question is this. One question is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have to look in this paragraph the word that means same as not foreseen. 7, 8, 9. Do we have one more question? No, we don't. So I've shown you the questions once again. So let's see, coming back here. Cool. First you try, then I'm gonna tell you the answers. Don't worry, we'll be discussing all the answers. Then I'll tell you how you can even, work to improve your comprehending skills, or how you can improve your reading comprehension skills to the next level. Last 1 minute. Okay, here you go. And while you're answering the question in reading comprehension, even if you are asked to fill in the blank, don't just write the answer. Write the complete sentence. One minute to go. See, it was easy. Now you guys were able to understand the entire paragraph in one go, what the questions are all about. What information are they looking for? This has been possible only because you knew the questions that are going to come, or that are going to follow the passage. So just please read it, the questions first. Okay, time's up. Let's have the next page. Here you go. Okay, now time to reveal the answers. Let me see if you guys got the answers right or not. Are you ready, guys? So let's see if you've got the right answers. Okay, the first question is, according to the passage, orangutans mostly eat. What do they eat? What answer did you find in the passage? Yes, they eat small ripe fruits along with small portions of leaves and seeds. That's right here. See? Okay, so they've given, see, this trigger word, even in captivity. So people might think that, okay, this is a trigger word and I'm gonna get something out of here, and most of those who don't read the comprehension carefully would probably write this thing. Right? Okay, so let's see what is the second question. So frame the complete sentence, guys. It's like I've just given the answer, but you have to frame the complete sentence. Next is, it's seen that orangutans and humans do almost the same. Do almost the same what? Activities like socializing, sleeping, walking, up, exploring indoor and outdoor. Okay, so let's see if we have it here. See? They wake up early along with the night sleep. Okay, they spend day socializing, exploring their indoor and outdoor enclosures. So this is something that they're talking about humans in this paragraph. So yes, they can you can talk about the activities, and here they're also talking about the diet. So these are the key points that you can write here. Okay, so let's jump on to the next question, that is, orangutans grow and reproduce slowly as they. What do you think is the answer, guys? As they have low energy. As they have low energy means. So let's see where the answer is. It's right here. Okay, not in this paragraph, of course. But the trade-off is that low energy means less energy, right? So they have low energy. So you're just going to write that they have low energy. That means less energy is available to do things like even in growing and reproducing. So you don't have to write means. That was a mistake. So you can talk about, yes, low energy or means less energy. So you can write low energy means less energy. So that is why they can't reproduce. They have low energy means less energy, because of which they can't reproduce. Okay, so let's see what the next question is. We do not want the orangutans to become extinct. What's the answer? Yes, because they are the most intelligent primates and have been extensively studied for their learning abilities. So they're very smart in their learning, guys. Okay, so let's see what the next question is. Find a word in paragraph 2 which means the same as not foreseen. Let me see if you guys can get this right. It's unpredictable. Like, not foreseen as in you have not seen it, as you cannot predict it. You're not aware of it. So let me see if you can answer this one. See if you can get the word here, unpredictable. So even though I'm not, like most of you might be in a position that you're not able to understand what it is. So availability is highly variable and also unpredictable. So if you read the entire sentence, you'll come to know that you cannot, unpredictable is something you can't expect that it will go according to your plan. Cool. So on that note, let's see. Okay. So we've answered this one. This has also been answered. What about this one? Are among dash the most intelligent. Guys, you got it right. Okay, what about this one? Dash are critically endangered species. Yes, of course. You didn't even have to look into the paragraph for that. So there is a severe decline in the population of orangutans because of what? Why there has been a decline? Because of poaching. Poaching as in hunting, right? The wrong way, habitat destruction, also illegal pet trade. You can find this answer right here. They've extensively been studied, critically endangered because of threats to wild, because of poaching, habitat destruction, also illegal. Cool, guys. You're very intelligent. See, you've become pro. Okay. And what about, are we done, I guess? Yeah, so we'll, on that note, we'll proceed to this paragraph now, right here. So let's dig into the questions first. So you have few paragraphs. There's 7. I'm going to give you. Okay, the first question is, what proved the fact that tsunami, guys, T is silent, that tsunami affected marine life in Australia? 3 things. Don't underline the entire sentence. 3 things that you have to look for. Second question, how do human casualty figures affect us? So human casualty. This is what you're going to talk about. Then in the third question they're asking is about coral reef. You might have studied it in class 9th also. Then what is grave concern? Why is there a grave concern? Grave is as in like very big concern for green leather back turtles. Okay, so they're talking about turtles in this case. Then where was the intensity of horrifying scale of destruction besides human tragedy scenes? So where was this horrifying, apart from affecting the humans, where did we see this horrifying tragedy affect? So apart from destruction, apart from humans. Okay, and next, what are duong, the grass eating underwater mammals, also called? So you've been asked the other name. Then the question is, what is one unexpected stroke of fortune? Fortune as in that brings good luck. For unexpected, and you're gonna look for fortune. Okay, and the next question is, why do fishing vessels affect badly? So they're asking for fishing vessels,